What's going on, Facebook? What's going on, YouTube? Appreciate you guys for your patience on YouTube. And I just wanted to talk about Carnival Cruises and Royal Caribbean Cruises are bringing back a mask mandate for certain things indoors. And I'm going to go through their vaccine policy, their mask policy, their testing policy. And, I have a picture right here of me on vacation because I love cruises. So I figured I'd put the proof. That's me. I don't remember where I was. Maybe Aruba, maybe Curacao. I don't even remember, but I'm a Royal Caribbean guy myself, and I'm disappointed in what they're doing. I'm never going to cruise again, and hopefully they get their act together because they're never going to stop this thing. They're never going to completely eradicate or eliminate. I hope they do. I really do, but with the forced masking, the forced jabbing, and the crazy policies is just insane in this world right now. And, they're ruining the cruise industry. So that's the story of the day. I'm going to CC Royal Caribbean. Sorry, it took me so long to go live. I was trying to figure out how to tag them because on my Facebook, when I'm done, I'm going to tag Royal Caribbean. I'm going to tag Carnival. And this is me in a Royal Caribbean. That's a Royal Caribbean little painting right there. That's me on an island. I just wanted to, they're losing a lifelong customer. And I'm also finalist in the karaoke competition on one of the boats. I know they might not care, but somewhat of a big deal. I can't say I finished first, second, or third, but I did make it to the finals amongst like 15 people. I'm a bronze medalist in the pickleball tournament. I'm Royal Caribbean. I remember I got beat by a Jewish couple that was like 5'3", and I thought that I was going to win. I'm like, listen, I'm young, I'm nimble, but this Jewish couple, to their credit, some of the best pickleballers I've ever seen this side of the Caribbean. So respect to them. I forget their last name, but they crushed it. Well-deserved gold medal from those two. I believe I'm a gold medalist at the basketball competition. I'm not trying to brag, but I have Royal Caribbean medals in my closet, and they might have been lost in my moving, or else I would have wore them on the stream. But you get what I'm saying. I love cruises, but I just can't deal with this. A mask requirement. I printed it out. I know it's backwards on Facebook. You're just going to have to deal with it. But the new CNN article, Carnival Cruises reports COVID cases, brings in mask requirement for all passengers. So thank you guys for being here. And I'll just jump into the story because I don't want to make you guys wait too long. So the CDC recommended that 95% of all cruisers are vaccinated. That's a CDC rule. I'm not sure. Is the CDC our new overlord now? You've heard historical stories of fascists and communists and dictators and authoritarians. Excuse me. You've heard all these stories. Is that the CDC now? Are they like the overlords of our society, where some psychotic lady with AOC eyes is allowed to dictate everything we do in this country, and we're just like slaves, peasants, and serfs to like psychotic people in that industry? Maybe, but they said that 95% of people on cruises need to be vaccinated. So Carnival, Royal Caribbean, they're all trying to get their entire cruise vaccinated, and they got crazy rules. So to make a long story short, Carnival Cruises has these crazy rules, and they're still having, according to CNN, a small number of positive cases of COVID-19 were detected aboard a Carnival cruise ship. A new fleet-wide mask policy requiring all guests to wear masks some indoor areas was implemented ahead of schedule, all cruises said. And RoyalCaribbeanBlog.com said Carnival joins Royal Caribbean in requiring pre-cruise COVID tests and masks for vaccinated passengers. So they had a rule, 95% of everybody needs to get vaccinated, but there's something that they don't want to tell you, but they are telling you, but at the same time, they're acting like it's not true. If you get vaccinated, you could still catch COVID, you could still spread COVID, you could still test positive for COVID. So they vaccinated everybody on the boat, or almost everybody on the boat, or as many people as they could on the boat, and said, well, this is going to do it, right? And then they decided to not test as much. And once they started testing, they're getting positive cases, because when you have 3 to 4 to 5,000 people, 6,000 people in a confined area, you're probably not going to eliminate and eradicate every coronavirus and every sort of influenza virus, et cetera, health problem. But they think they can for some reason. So they're mass testing like complete psychopaths. They're finding the virus that they're looking for, And now they're taking away freedom from not just unvaccinated passengers, but they're taking away freedom from vaccinated passengers. So you have to get a test before you get on the ship. And then you have to wear masks. I'm not going on a vacation to wear a mask. Am I an abused show animal, Royal Caribbean? Am I an abused show animal, Carnival? Not that I would go on Carnival. I've heard you guys are a little subpar. No offense, but that's just what I hear. I read it online. Listen, no liability here for my opinion. But you know, it's like, are we going to the circus? You got to strap me up and lock me up and put me on a four-wheeler, out to Arkansas for the new animal show? Am I an abused show animal? Am I like a prisoner or something? Am I being like held captive by a foreign country and you guys are like, putting me on a transcontinental experience on a boat? Or am I supposed to be on vacation and breathe air without a cloth mask strapped to my face? I mean, when does this end? It never ends. And I hope people vaccinated or unvaccinated realize what's going on. These people are never going to stop. They're ruining the cruise industry. I'm just going to read some more of their rules. This is CNN reporting, the great. Our pre-established protocols of vaccinated guest crew testing and enhanced medical capabilities and contact tracing anticipated the potential for positive cases, and they are designed to adapt to various scenarios, the statement said. The new policy that requires all guests, even the vaccinated, to wear masks in certain indoor areas was set to go into effect for cruises departing on or after August 7th, but the positive cases prompted an immediate start to aboard Carnival Vista Wednesday evening. And if you scroll down, they got more rules, etc. I said this before they even launched the cruises. The cruise industry is dead. It is never going to go back until people stop acting so psychotic. I was on 3 cruises last year. I love them. I talk about them often. On the 3 cruises I was on, 2 of them had emergency exits. One of them had a helicopter land to save somebody's life, or they had some sort of life scenario going on that a helicopter landed while we were in the ocean. The other one, we rushed back to the port because we needed to get back because somebody had some sort of life-altering injury. If you've ever been on a cruise, the average age is probably 70 or 80, probably like 70, 65 at lowest. So when you have that many people that are above the age of 60 and 70, your chances of not having some sort of health situation, no matter how mild it is, if it's as mild as COVID or it's as major as like a surgery or a breakdown, the chances of that happening are almost probably 80, 90, 95% just due to it's like a nursing home on the ocean. And I still love it. I'm not trying to knock it. I love cruise. I'm just saying you can't eliminate all health problems ever, all the time. It's just not how the world works, especially when we're all growing older. We're all getting to a certain age and we're all eventually going to hopefully go to heaven and, leave this sicko world. So when you mass test to the extent that they're testing, test here, test there, test here, test there, test there, you're going to find it. Even asymptomatic cases, they're finding, I don't even know that I have it, but I tested positive. Okay. And now that they have a positive test, it means people have to wear masks. I hope and I pray that the vaccinated people, the people who got vaccinated, understand that this is never going to end. This is never going to end. I don't care. 15 days to slow the spread. We're just building the Javits Center. We need to just do this. We need to do this. We need to do this. We're counting deaths. We're counting cases. We're going to open up. If you get vaccinated, you can open up again. If you get vaccinated, you could take the mask off. Well, you got vaccinated. You don't have to get tested. Well, actually, you got vaccinated. You should take the test. Well, actually, you got vaccinated. You did get COVID. You can spread COVID. You know what? Since you're vaccinated, you should put your mask back on and you should get tested. Isn't the whole reason you got vaccinated so they could leave you the hell alone? Some people did it for health reasons. Some people got bribed into it. Some people got pressured into it. Some people got threatened into it, and they figured they couldn't travel anymore if they didn't get it. This is never going to end, folks. It doesn't matter if you got it or not. This doesn't end with you listening to them and getting the yearly booster so Pfizer and Moderna can have record high sales every year. It doesn't end. And Carnival and this was, listen, that's upside down. I'm sorry. It was all good just a week ago. Come on. Look how blue that ocean is. I'm never going on your stupid cruises again. You're dead to me, Royal Caribbean. You think I'm not going to go on the cruise boat and the karaoke level isn't going to decline. Of course it's going to decline because I can rap and sing subpar. My singing voice, 4 out of 10, 5 out of 10 on a good day. Actually, on a good day, I'll give myself a 7 out of 10. I'm certainly not an 8. Rapping, I would put myself in the upper tier. It's been 1 week since Chickadee China, the Chinese chicken had a come on. Who else is gonna rap that song on Royal Caribbean? Nobody. And the passengers are gonna suffer. Who wants to be on a cruise boat with a freaking mask on their face? What? Come on. Who wants to go cruising? Oh, this is really fun. Excuse me, sir. Step 6 feet away, sir. Excuse me, sir. Put your mask. Shut the hell up. Who wants to go to Disney World? It's like, I mean, I don't know if they're still doing this, but when they did, they're just like screaming at you. It's like, remember when Mickey Mouse used to dress up and be like, hey, I'm happy you're here. Now he's like, shut the. No, I'm just kidding. But it's not fun anymore. Stop going on cruises, everybody. This is ridiculous. They're going to test 4,000 to 5,000 people for COVID-19. I just have a question. How accurate are the COVID tests? Are they saying that they're 100% accurate? Are they? I don't think they are. I don't even think the top experts are claiming that they are 100% accurate. Maybe at best they're 99.9%. What's the equation if you test 6,000 people? Can you do that math? If you test 100 people with a 99% accurate test, that means there's going to be one false negative or false positive because 99%, that's 99 out of 100. If it's 99.9, that means out of 1,000, you're going to do one wrong. If you get one COVID test wrong or right, whatever, if they have it or not, and you shut down and add new policies and become authoritarians because one person had it on a boat of 6,000 people, this never ends. I don't understand why people are playing along with this. I'm just going to, never mind. I'm tired of it. I'm going to CC Royal Caribbean, Carnival. Hopefully they see this. You're ruining, even if you somehow get away with this financially, hopefully not, but you're ruining one of the greatest vacations on planet Earth forever. It's never coming back the same. I'm just going to read Royal Caribbean's blog. Less than a week after Royal Caribbean said it would require vaccinated passengers to get a COVID test for certain sailings, Carnival Cruise announced a similar protocol. Carnival informed guests of a new testing and mask guidelines where cruise ship passengers will be asked to wear masks in certain indoor areas of their ships, and all guests, including those who are vaccinated, to get pre-COVID tests or pre-cruise COVID tests. Beginning on sailings that depart on August 14th, all fully vaccinated cruise ship passengers will need to get a negative COVID-19 test, PCR or antigen, within 3 days when their sailing begins. Since you guys are talking about PCR tests, maybe you should do a little bit of research on Kary Mullis, the inventor of PCR tests, who literally said on record that Fauci was a great deceiver and that his PCR test was a great tool, but it was not supposed to be used for a diagnosis to tell you whether you're sick or not. I'm not saying that. I'm not the inventor of the PCR test. I am just one of the most above average, slightly above average karaoke singers on Royal Caribbean's history. And, many have came before me, many will come after me. But Kary Mullis did invent the PCR test. And he said that when it was being used in the 70s, 80s, and 90s to diagnose sickness, he said that's literally not what it's used for. Well, he doesn't know. He's a conspiracy theorist. He invented the test. If it wasn't for his brain, there would be no PCR test. He invented it. And he did a lot of LSD. I'm not saying to do that because it's not wise. I'm just saying that's what he did. It's interesting. Anyway, I just did a lot of research on him. Sorry. I'm going to go back to the Royal Caribbean blog. This means fully vaccinated guests will require to provide proof of negative COVID-19 tests along with proof of vaccination upon full arrival in the terminal so they can get processed on board. Like Royal Caribbean, Carnival will not provide testing opportunities at the cruise terminal, so guests have to do it at home before they arrive. Man, I wish I was I don't because I have a soul, but I wish I was one of these testing companies, like $100, $200, $300 a test. Test here, test there. Oh, we're not going to pay for your test. You have to go get your test. Ooh, I'm sure they don't want this to keep going. I'm sure Pfizer and Moderna really want to get this a hold. I'm sure they want to eliminate. What happens if this virus gets eliminated? Man, no more booster shots but if we could just keep stringing this along, it's the Delta. It's the lambda. It's the lambda. This, I guess these variants are like sororities and fraternities at like your average college campus. You're like, dude, COVID party's really hard. You know, the Delta, the Lambda. Like, have you ever been to a COVID frat party? Your life will never be the same. It's like COVID party super, super hard. Lambda. All right, so let's get back to the rules on Royal Caribbean blog. Royal Caribbean, you're dead to me. Okay? You're ruining cruises. Guests who are not fully vaccinated are still required to show the negative results of a PCR test taken between 72 and 24 hours prior to the sailing date, and will be tested again in the terminal prior to boarding ship again within 24 hours of debarkation. Cool word. For itineraries 5 days longer. Unvaccinated guests approved for exemption will continue to be charged $150 per person for testing, reporting, and health safety screenings, but also must provide proof of travel insurance if the departure states of Florida or Texas. Children under 2 are exempted from testing requirements. So they're charging you extra if you're somehow unvaccinated on the ship. Since they're talking about PCR tests so much, you have to get a PCR test. Let's listen to Carrie Mullis, the inventor of the PCR test, just so they can't say I'm saying a conspiracy theory, because I don't like theories. I don't like a fake theory. I like a real one. So let's listen to Carrie Mullis real quick. Let's hear what he says about the PCR test. Oh, great. My mouse is dying. What if my mouse dies? Am I going to not be able to like stop this live stream? I'm going to have to be live forever. I got to replace the battery. That would suck. I'll just filibuster and, all right. Here's him talking about the PCR test. We're going to listen real quick. The end, he says exactly.
Or inferred in a sense. PCR is separate from that. It's just a process that's used to make a whole lot of something out of something. That's what it is. It's not, it doesn't tell you that you're sick, and it doesn't tell you that the thing you ended up with really was going to hurt you or anything like that.
He said the PCR test, it doesn't tell you if you're sick. That's the inventor of the PCR test. With no Carrie Mullis, either we would have no PCR test, or it would have probably taken 10, 20, 30, 40 years for somebody to figure that out. He said it doesn't tell you if you're sick. That's not me, the above average karaoke singer. That's the inventor of the PCR test. Why is nobody talking about this? Somebody complained recently, Ryan Savidre, God bless that guy. He complained about, his grandfather dying. I mean, I'm not like knocking it. I'm just bringing it up. Sorry. It sounds like I'm being rude or something. He was complaining about his I'll just read his tweet. He said, "My grandpa died alone tonight because one person got COVID at the facility he was at, so no one was allowed to visit, even though, including him, were fully vaccinated. However, immediately after they passed, they let the entire family see him. This cruel BS needs to stop." So he's explaining, my grandfather was dying and we're not even allowed to see him on his deathbed. It's horrible. It's terrible. I don't care if you're a liberal, progressive. Who cares what your politics are? This is human nature. You should be able to see your family member on their deathbed. The most frustrating part about this, among just what it is that conservatives and Republicans will dupe you into thinking that it's just a Joe Biden thing. Conservatives and Republicans will dupe you into thinking it's the radical left. Last year, Donald J. Trump was the president of the United States. The Senate was more Republican than it is now, and they did nothing about this. They had no plan for it. They allowed this to happen in all 50 states, and they didn't even talk about it. Trump, the purple-haired lady in soccer. He's a professional clown. I get it. Megan Rapinoe sucks, but what did you do when you were president besides funnel money to Pfizer and Moderna and brainwash your supporters into thinking you were fighting Fauci when you were literally funneling money to companies that the National Institute of Health own part of the patent of? Who owns Moderna? Part of it is owned by the National Institute of Health. Look it up. Axios did a report on it. His human health and services guy, Alex Azar, was a pharma lobbyist. It's the radical left. No, it's both parties. It's the uniparty. That's what's so frustrating about this. All these stupid Republican influencers or compromised Republican influencers or fake Republican influencers who care about money, power, and fame more than they care about the American people will make you believe that this is like a Democrat thing going on when the Republicans were in power for a year and you still couldn't see your grandfather on his deathbed. You still couldn't see your grandmother on your deathbed. And the hospital industry across all 50 states was doing this last year, and not a single person even barely talked about it. This wasn't even a talking point because they're all like just marching along to Orange Man vaccine salesman Grandpa Moderna and his little clown show that never ends. Him running in circles around issues that aren't medical tyranny because he is the father of vaccines, aka the father of medical tyranny. He agreed with 15 days to slow the spread. He extended the lockdown order. He funded the CARES Act. He funded ventilators. He funded mass testing. He funded the vaccines. He bragged about them. And he's mysteriously missing from the fight against medical tyranny now that it's implemented. But he has time to write 3 paragraphs about Megan Rapinoe. He's a professional court jester to distract conservatives. So that's what's frustrating. The Democrats suck. Liberals suck. Joe Biden just said today that 350 million people got vaccinated. There aren't even 350 million people in this country. Joe Biden's a joke. It's time to cart him off to the nursing home and let cackling Kamala haunt America like a ghost on Halloween. But this doesn't change the. Oh, well, what if Mike Lindell's telling the truth? Well, I don't know. Promo code MyPillow 66% off. Promo code. He already said he was 100% sure Trump would be back in January, and he lied about that. Promo code. Even if Donald Trump does come back in the next couple of years, which he's not, but even if he miraculously did, it wouldn't change the fact that both parties are in on it. Both parties are incapable of doing something. So I say this because the Republicans are like John Stockton lobbing Karl Malone. He dunks in your face, and then they act like they weren't the one who dunked in your face. Technically, no, but you set them up for our failure. And whether it's Royal Caribbean, whether it's what's going on in the hospitals, whether it's what's going on in the corporate America, whether it's what's going on in Florida to Texas to New Jersey to New York, mass testing is at the root of all of this. It's a simple equation that none of these actors want to talk about. And the equation is this. If you test that much, you're going to find it. If you find it and you say the person died from it, then the numbers are never going to go down. If you try to act like, well, I don't even remember what I was going to say, but it's all about mass testing. And I want to just go through what some of these stupid, fake Republican influencers are saying. Ann Coulter, I can't say I've ever really liked her, but I like the fact that she's fearless. I like the fact that she just doesn't give a shit. It's pretty impressive. Ann Coulter, she posts this stupid thing on Twitter trying to dupe conservatives. I'm like, are you really dumb? And people are like, don't say that. I'm like, I don't care anymore. Either these people are really dumb or really fake. So she retweets this thing. It says vaccines work, masking and lockdowns don't work. So she's telling people vaccines work. Okay. That's fair enough. Why is she saying that? She retweets this guy who shows a graph of winter having a lot of COVID deaths and then summer not having that many. And he says, while cases in the UK reach similar levels as the winter wave, deaths are 10% of the winter wave. Unlike the fuzzy evidence on effectiveness and restrictions, there's overwhelming evidence that vaccines are effective at reducing severe illness and death. So their proof of vaccines working are there were more deaths in the winter, but there's not as many deaths in the summer. If you look at the graph that Ann Coulter shared to say that they work, you could find that at this time last year, at the exact same time of July, there were less deaths by COVID than there are today. So her proof of them working is showing a time period, and this is all mainstream. You could look it up yourself in UK. Showing data from the UK last year around this time with not a single COVID vaccine administered, unless they were doing testing that I'm not aware of, less deaths than now, but there's more deaths now than last year. And that proves that they're working because it's less than winter. Wow. Really smart, Ann Coulter. You're so cool because you're so edgy. But when push comes to shove for America, you're on the wrong side of the most important argument, like Donald Trump. Cool. What else happens usually every summer? I'm just going to go back to before COVID. I'm not saying anything about COVID. Let's go back to my entire life. Winter was called the flu season. More people died from the flu during winter. Once summer came around, miraculously, people stopped dying from the flu around summer. Even people that administered the flu vaccine, nobody claimed that summer data shows that the winter were. It's like no one did that. They just knew winter is when flu cases and flu deaths spike, and summer is when flu deaths tend to go down. That has happened every year of my life. I'm not saying COVID is the flu, but if it has similar properties, I understand it's a coronavirus, not influenza. However, if it has similar properties, respiratory illnesses, the winter, lack of sun, people indoors, cold weather, etc. If it has the same effect like a spike for COVID in the winter, like it was for the influenza, that's a high possibility. Comparing the winter to the summer is the fakest thing you could do. And I said this 4 months ago. I'm like, isn't it interesting that they're rolling out their medical product right around summer? I can almost guarantee you that COVID cases are going to go back up in the winter. Why wouldn't they? It's winter. Every year for my entire life, you had, whether it be coronaviruses like the common cold or influenza viruses, spike in the winter. You think this one's not going to matter? Of course it is. And you know what they're going to do in the winter? They're going to say, look how many cases there are. We have to shut down. Look how many deaths we are. You have to shut down. And guess what happens? Climate change. Have you guys heard of climate change? I'm going to tell you the climate change that they don't talk about, besides like in the United Arab Emirates where they're manipulating the weather, and in China where they're manipulating the weather. It's not a conspiracy. Google it. It's Forbes mainstream articles. China has weather technology the size of Alaska to mess with the weather, and so does United Arab Emirates. They're making it rain out there, not with stripper money, but with rain. The climate change that they don't tell you about is winter, summer, spring, and fall. And when the climate change comes this winter, like it does every winter, you're going to see cases spike. And guess what happens every year? Winter, summer, spring, fall, spring, summer, fall, winter, in that order. The second order, not the first one. So we're on a hamster wheel. We're on a hamster wheel. Republicans are like professional court jesters pretending like they're doing something on the wheel. And then they're going to be like, whoa, I didn't see that coming. It must be the Delta variant. Whoa, I didn't see that. It's going to happen every year. It's never not happened in my entire life with the flu. This is just mainstream data. The flu. You can look at flu deaths and flu cases from 1940, 1945, when they rolled out the flu vaccine, till 2018, 2019. There is no decline of it. There were some of the worst flu seasons in the last 20 years. So the flu season never stopped until COVID came out. And then they claimed that the flu disappeared as soon as COVID came out. I've gotten diagnosed with the flu 3 times. I've never had a flu test in my life. So they were just inferring that I had the flu. They never tested me. They never gave me an influenza test. They just said, you're sick. You don't have strep throat. You have the flu. So now that COVID hysteria is all here and there's COVID tests everywhere, I don't even think they're trying to diagnose people for the flu anymore. So these cases of, and I'm not saying that they're the same thing, but I'm just saying that's a lot more likely than, the medicine's working, the lockdowns worked. People are so stupid. So, I'm not trying to be upset today, but Carnival and Royal Caribbean, they're forever ruined. They're going to count cases on a boat with 6,000 people where they're jamming PCR tests up people's nose 4 days before they get on the cruise boat. Yeah, good luck ever getting those tests to zero. That's not how the PCR test works, and that's not how science works. I mean, the common cold, 2 to 3 times a year. They say the average American gets it 2 to 3 times a year. I don't know how great the antibodies work or the booster shots or natural immunity, etc. They're still studying and researching that. But, if this is anything like the flu, I'm not saying it's the flu, but the flu never went away. Did the flu ever go away? Oh, we got herd immunity. I got the flu 4 times. I never got antibodies for the flu. I don't think that lasted forever. So they're taking something that is most likely or definitely never going away. Mass testing with PCR tests, looking for positive COVID tests, using those positive COVID tests and saying anybody that dies with a positive COVID test died of COVID-19, using a positive COVID test as rights to slap a piece of cloth over your breathing holes for eternity, to slap a piece of cloth over breathing holes on your children, which is beyond child abuse. If you look at the average mask of a child after playing at school for 8 hours or learning, they're dirty. How many dirty masks have you seen from your children, other people's children? Children play, they fiddle. They're disgusting. It is abusive on every level, from mental to psychological to even physical, messing their ears up. And also, I wouldn't want you to take a dirty napkin and shove it in my face. And when I wipe my face with a napkin, I don't put it over my face. That's what these masks are. They're beyond dirty napkins and dirty cloths that you're forcing your kids to slap to their face because a bunch of psychopaths at the CDC and in the local government are making them do it. People should be ashamed of themselves for following along. And I don't care if you're vaccinated. I don't care if you're unvaccinated. I don't care if you love the mask. I don't care if you hate the mask. This is never going to end. And parents should be absolutely ashamed for going along with this. If we had even 20% of the population who had half a spine, none of this would be happening. 30% of the population that had half a spine. But what we have is 50% liberals, 50% conservatives, 50% Trump supporters, 50% Trump haters. And when push comes to shove for real people to actually do something, nobody's there because everybody loves to live vicariously through Rachel Maddow or Donald Trump or something. It's like Rachel Maddow is going to save me. Oh, yeah, any day now she's going to fight Russian collusion that she hallucinated. Yeah, she's really going to save you. Oh, Operation Warp Speed, Daddy Moderna, he's really coming to save you. Oh, there's underground bases with the pedophiles and Trump's around. No, it's what you tell yourself when you don't actually want to do anything and you're letting the state abuse your children. How about people look at this and say, at what point do you stop? Because when it comes to the testing cycle, when it comes to how they're testing, what they're using to test, how often they're testing, and what we have now allowed them with our society to say, well, if there's this many cases or this many deaths or this many positive tests, we'll allow the CDC or Carnival Cruise or these to do this and take away to take. It's literally never going to end. I don't care how many people are vaccinated. I don't care if you have stock in Pfizer and you want to get the booster shot every year. I don't care if you didn't get it. I don't care if you love the mask. I don't care if you feel comfortable in it. If you think this is going to go away with vaccinations and booster shots and masks, you are anti-science. Look at how they're testing. If they're going to test 5,000 people on a cruise boat and 1 or 2 or 3 positive now means on one boat that they can do this new policy across all boats, this is never going to end because there's one fact that they tell you repeatedly, yet they will want to also say that it's not happening. Vaccinations, regardless of how effective they are for doing what they claim that they're doing, they have now admitted the truth, which is they don't stop you from not getting COVID-19 and they don't stop you from not spreading it. So if you're vaccinated, you can still get it. In the PGA Tour, Jon Rahm is one of the best golfers in the world right now from Spain. He tested positive for COVID-19 in the middle, actually at the end of a tournament he was going to win. They pulled him out of the tournament and he lost the tournament because he tested positive for COVID-19 and his test just came back positive at the end of the tournament. Okay, so he claims he was half vaccinated or whatever. He gets fully vaccinated, right? Already tested positive for COVID, already got kicked out of the tournament, already got a positive test, and they gave him 3, according to the report I read, they gave him 3 COVID tests in order to go over to Tokyo to compete for his country in the Olympics. Even though he was fully vaccinated, even though he already tested positive for COVID-19 2 months ago, he got 3 tests. 2 of them were negative. 1 of them was positive. So now Jon Rahm couldn't go to the Olympics because he tested positive for COVID a second time while being a golfer, even though he already is fully vaccinated. And my buddy Bryson DeChambeau, he said he didn't get the V, and they're crying and complaining about what he said. And he said, even if you get it, you can still test positive. And they're like, he needs to get it. It's like he's a healthy guy in his 20s. He has it or already got COVID-19. And the first thing they're doing is it's like, do they care at all? They're not even trying to study the science of antibodies or testing. It's just like, get in line like a sheep on a conveyor belt and shut the hell up. So the point I'm trying to get to is this is never going to end. And like I said, maybe we could defeat COVID-19 with natural herd immunity. Maybe, hypothetically, in this world or another one, we could defeat it with a mass vaccination program. I'm willing to admit that these are possibilities that could possibly exist, but when they're telling you you can take the vaccine and still get it, I'm guessing we're never going to reach herd immunity. And also with the flu, I know everybody I know has gotten the flu. How come the flu never went away until 2020? How come we had 80 years of people getting the flu all the time every year and that never went away from herd immunity? Maybe there's certain things that aren't going to go away. not from medication, not from vaccines, not from not vaccine. Maybe there's certain things that are here to stay, certain viruses and certain diseases. Maybe not. I'm just throwing it out there, but it's like you could get 100% or 99% of the population like Gibraltar vaccinated. They're still having positive cases because the medicine that they're claiming is going to do, at first I think they're like, we're going to eradicate it. And now they're admitting that they probably can't. And they're saying that, well, it's going to protect you from severe illness. Do people not get the game? I'm not telling people what to or not do, but this idea that they could just shove PCR tests up everybody's noses 30 times a year, count cases that are non-symptoms, what do they call it? The non-symptom cases, and just use the amount of numbers that they have is psychotic. And I don't care if people are vaccinated or not, or trying to do the right thing. This literally is never going to end until people realize this. And I found an old tweet because I've been prepared to not fly. I think eventually they're going to say, if you don't get vaccinated, you can't fly. And I'll never fly again because I'd rather live in the woods than listen to them. But I found asymptomatic. Thank you. I found a tweet that I said on 3/12/2020, which was before the lockdown, before Operation Warp Speed. That's March 12th, 2020. So this was a couple days before they locked America down. Here's what I said last year in March, before the lockdown or Operation Warp Speed. I said, imagine if they don't let you fly or go to public venues if you don't get the vaccine. You thought China was bad. Just wait. This is what happens when you don't realize how deep the swamp is and nothing gets done about it. I'm not doing it to pat myself on the back, but if people watch my channel, we're like 2 years ahead of everybody else. All these other conservative influencers, all they do is cry about me. Most of them like me, but they're like, no, he's a true Democrat and hates Trump. It's like, let's see what you were saying back then. I knew that they were going to ban people from public venues over a vaccine that didn't even exist yet, or at least that wasn't even approved or emergency use authorized yet. And there was no Operation Warp Speed. That's what I was saying back in March. Let's go look at your tweets back in March. Trump's going to save my world. Trump's going to wipe my poopy butt, and I'm going to feel really good when Trump wipes my butt. Like, that's what all these people were saying last week. Trump has a secret plan. He's going to fight the deep state. It's like, that's what you were saying. So it's unbelievable that these people cry, they're accused of Democrat. No, I realize that there's certain things that span both party lines. If you go to Open Secrets and you look at the top 3 recipients of pharmacy lobbying money, number 1 is Joe Biden by a long shot with like $7-8 million of pharma campaign money. Number 2 is your idol, Donald J. Trump, with 1 or 2.5 million. I can't remember how much. And number 3 is Bernie Sanders, the fraud from Vermont, who pretends to be bipartisan, but he's really just a Democratic Party shill, who apparently takes pharmacy lobbying money. So the top 3 people are probably the top 3 most popular politicians in America. I would say Biden's not that popular, but he is the president. But Trump and Bernie are probably the 2 most popular politicians, and they're both taking pharmacy lobbying money. I'm not a Democrat. I'm a registered Republican. But I identified last year when I was locked in my house, it was Republicans like Trump that are like, I know you're locked in your house, and I know I don't give a shit, but I'm going to fly airplanes over your head. And everyone's like, oh, wow, he's flying Blue Angels over my head, or whatever they're called. Listen, I love the military. I love planes and watching flights and stuff. It's cool. Bro, I don't want to be treated like a slave or a prisoner. So I'm not like a moron where I'm like, oh, thank you for putting display over my head. Like, that's a distraction. It's like, what about doing something about the fact that 49 or 50 states are locking people in their houses? Did that ever occur to Orange Man, Mr. Moderna? I call him Grandpa Moderna, the vaccine salesman. But he doesn't give a shit. He didn't give a shit last year. He doesn't give a shit this year. I thought for a few months during the election, maybe he would win and give a shit, but win or lose, he hasn't given a shit, and he still doesn't. He's like a court jester, and people are like running circles around him. Doesn't make me a Democrat. I just know the Republican Party, when push came to shove, they implemented socialism and communism, and not the type that actually benefits America, the type that prints trillions of dollars, funnels a bunch of money to big pharma. And now they're using the money that they stole from us to jam these products that Trump is bragging about down our throats. I didn't agree to the CARES Act, but it doesn't matter. Everybody else did. So they printed a bunch of money and now they have an advertising budget. And now they use that money to probably or definitely pay off influencers. I'm not the type of person that accuses people falsely because let's be honest. I like to give people the benefit of the doubt. People like other influencers, maybe they're not that smart. Maybe they're just like, they care about themselves or money, power, and fame more than stuff. But think about how much money there is. And you could look up things that says they have this budget to pay off influencers. A lot of these celebrities, they're not like fanatics over the jab, like maybe they are, but they're being paid. And that's on record. They're paying people to do the bidding of vaccine education. Okay, let's give you money and tell your audience. So the two biggest, I would guess, besides celebrities, the two biggest groups that they want to get vaccinated are Black people and conservatives. Because if you look at the country, it's probably the conservative states that are the least vaccinated. And if you look at demographics in a lot of these liberal areas, it's the Black community that's the least vaccinated. So when Jadakiss does the back that ass up, or not Jadakiss, I'm sorry, Jadakiss is a legend. I mean Juvenile. Did not mean to disrespect Jadakiss like that. I love Jadakiss, and he probably would never do that. But Juvenile, they did back that vax up. Did he choose to do that? Maybe. I'm willing to say maybe. Did he get paid to do that? I'm guessing he probably got paid. I can't prove that, and I'm not going to claim to. But I don't think he woke up one day and said, let me do a vaccine anthem. I think he's a hustler. They probably paid him. So I'm not saying people are paid off on the right wing, but who would get more money than a conservative who can convince people? I'm not saying she got paid, but Sarah Huckabee Sanders is going to go to Arkansas, the least vaccinated place, and tell people to get the Trump vaccine. I'm not saying she's paid off because I don't think she is, but I would assume that that's a huge market that they're looking at. Can we get influencers and people that conservatives love to tell them to do what we're already paying celebrities on the left to do? I'm not saying that's happening on the right, but I would just assume that that would be a profitable thing to do as a conservative that has no morals, values, or is just willing to go around the country and parade around for big pharma. Considering that the top three recipients of pharma money were Biden, Trump, Bernie Sanders. I'm just saying. Anyway, I hope people realize this stuff, and I can't say that I'm not going to say I don't care, but I've come to terms. I'm at peace. I'm at peace with the fact that I might never be able to fly again. I'm at peace with the fact that one day I could lose access to the social media that I love. I'm at peace with the fact that one day I might have to move. I think I'm in a good area, but one day I might have to leave and go somewhere else. I'm at peace with it. I look at it like a competition, and it reminds me of when they locked the country down. I remember in early March before the lockdown, I told people I would stock up on food. I'm not a fear monger, but something's going down. Mike Pence told everyone don't do it because he didn't want people to flood the supermarkets. I understand that. But I was like, I'm not telling you to go steal stuff from your neighbors, clearly, but I would stock up. And that turned out to be good advice. Like, yes, you still could get food, but it was kind of miserable going to the supermarkets during the lockdown. So a lot of people messaged me and they said, thank you so much. I appreciate you having foresight. I got a lot of food for my family, didn't have to worry about toilet paper, etc. And I was like, cool. With that being said, it's like I see the writing on the wall for this. And when that happened, I just flew home. I flew to my friend's house in the suburbs, to be honest. I got out of LA. And I was at his house a week before they locked down. If I would have waited, I probably wouldn't have got there. But in general, I wasn't even scared about that. I was like, I've been waiting. I'm not like happy about it, but I'm like, I've been waiting my whole life for something like this to happen. Because since I was 18 or 17, you see all these corrupt things. You see these corrupt industries like Big Pharma. You see the dual party politicians from George Bush to Obama. You see the foreign wars. You see the type of food that they're feeding us. You see the fact that our health is getting worse. Our mental health has been getting worse. Our physical health has been getting worse. We went from a country that was mostly fit to a country that's like 50% or around that obese. And with obesity comes heart disease and problems like, no offense, the governor of Maryland, who's like, the hospitalizations, they're all unvaccinated people. I'm like, okay, how many of them are obese and have comorbidities? I'm just asking because I don't take kindly to somebody who's shaped like Grimace from McDonald's, acting like I'm a criminal for the crime of working out and going to the beach too much. It's like, I'm not trying to be rude because I don't care what people look like. And I understand half the country is overweight. So I'm preaching to a small choir, but I never bother anybody else. I've been out of shape before. I'm just weirded out by the fact that everybody who wants to talk shit to me and act like I'm a horrible person, they're all shaped like Grimace, the purple guy from McDonald's, literally, who my friend Kaylin, if you don't follow Kaylin, check out Kaylin from Kaylin, I think it is, on social media. He pointed, and if you have your kids watching, it's time to tune out. Grimace from McDonald's is shaped like a butt plug. He pointed that out. I can't unsee it. I have a hard time thinking that wasn't purposeful. Maybe it wasn't, but it's like Grimace looks like a butt plug, and everybody who wants to act like I'm a horrible person for working out looks like Grimace. You put the dots together. I'm not going to say anything, but in general, I've seen this going on in our country. Sorry for the tangent. I've seen this going on in our country for a long time where like the banks have been corrupt, pharma's been corrupt, the media's been corrupt, politics has been corrupt, the wars have been corrupt, our food industry has been corrupt, our drug industry has been corrupt. And since I was 18, I'm like, this is not going to work out for long. And that's why so many kids end up being liberal, because a lot of conservatives say everything is great, everything is perfect. And I agree that everything is great and we should be grateful and blessed to be in America. But as a kid, you kind of see that things are screwed up. And the liberals are the ones who pander to that. Well, it is screwed up. Come over and be an activist with us. So that's some way you can get to your kids, because it's like conservatives too much. They're like, this is the greatest country on this side of heaven. It's like, I do agree that it's a great country. I'm more grateful than I was when I'm younger. But all of these issues, from conservative to liberal, from Reagan to Bush, from Clinton to Obama, all of these problems that people have been ignoring on the left and the right, they're all coming home to roost now. So when this happened in March, a lockdown to most people is insane. To me, I've heard about lockdowns for 15 years and FEMA camps and Walmarts. And I mean, I'm not saying that all happened, but I've heard these theories for so long. And, those type of people, unfortunately, tend to make more sense than the people on Fox and CNN. So I was 2 weeks ahead of it. I was already in a suburb by the time they locked down with a full house of food. I bought $500 worth of food, and I'm playing video games with my best friend in the world. So I'm not saying I enjoyed it, but I did make the most of it. And I wasn't scared because I saw this all coming. So when we ignore all these problems for so long, this type of stuff is bound to happen. The food industry really is this corrupt. The drug industry really is this corrupt. Politics really is this corrupt. And until we solve these problems, or at least get enough people to care about them and hold their ground a little bit, things are going to continue to decline. So on that note, I'm not a wizard. I knew last March, before the vaccine even fully existed, or at least was talked about publicly, I knew that they were going to ban me from venues for not taking the product that wasn't even out yet, because this is just what these people do, and they're never going to stop. So I'm not playing along. Let me know what you guys think. But Royal Caribbean, Carnival, get a grip. You can't mass test people. And regardless of what you want to say, masks do not eliminate the spread. If you go, I'm not saying that there's not pros and cons to masks, but if you go in the Wuhan Institute of Virology, they have a full-blown spacesuit. They're in a full suit that filters out air so 0% can get in, because that's how it works. That's how a virus like COVID works, with the air, etc. I mean, there's a lot of scientists who say open the window is more effective than that. Open a window so you have airflow, as opposed to being in a closed space, will probably do you better. But in general, if you go in one of these virology labs, they're in a full suit. And I'm walking around in Southern California with beautiful weather, and there's people with a mask on their face outdoors. If they're indoors at a COVID facility and you're outdoors with a mask on, I'm sorry, Royal Caribbean. I'm sorry, Carnival, the cruise line, not the amusement park, Carnival. A mask is not going to stop the spread of the virus. It's not going to eliminate COVID-19. A paper mask? Are you guys stupid? Oh, well, everyone got vaccinated and that's not working, so now we're going to make them wear a mask indoors. It's not going to stop it either, dummies. These people are so stupid. They're going to keep getting positive cases, and they deserve to. So stop the tyranny, end all this bullshit. And if they really cared about people, the most obvious talking point, if you look at the connection, there's one connection that's a screaming thing in the room. Most of the hospitalizations in America, way over 50%, way over 70%, are obesity. Most of the deaths were in obese countries. I think it was like 9 out of 10 were in countries where the obesity rate was enormous, where these are the same people making you obese. They're going to talk about COVID vaccines on the NBA, And their thing is sponsored by Taco Bell. I eat Taco Bell sometimes because I'm a degenerate, but in general, I'm not acting like I'm above Taco Bell. I was for a few years. I kept having bad dreams because I was eating their trash products, but I'm back being a degenerate and I eat Taco Bell sometimes. Anyway, I'm not above Taco Bell. However, if you really cared about health, you're taking away my gym and shoving Taco Bell in myself. These people hate you. They hate you. They hate your family. They hate your flag. They hate your health. And they act like they're your greatest friends. Look at pictures of 1930s and 40s. People were way more fit than they are now. I'm sorry. But if you want to eliminate COVID-19 hospitalizations, start looking at obesity. But they can't. Do you know why? Because obese people in their age bracket tend to be on more pills. Who do you think owns the pills? The same companies that are pushing the jab. So if everybody took care of themselves, they wouldn't have as many pills to sell and they wouldn't have as much fear to sell. They need fear to sell, fast food to sell, pills to sell, and those are their biggest sponsors. So this idea that they're helping our health, they're hurting our health. Here's an equation that they'll never do. How many people got fatter because they were locked inside? I did. And I'm a pretty healthy person, but I don't have anywhere to freaking go. You locked me inside, tried to scare the shit out of me for 3 months. Yeah, I got fatter. Okay. I'm sure I know multiple people just in my own family, but a majority of America probably got fatter through COVID-19. Then you shut down gyms. Then you shut down outdoor facilities for a while. Then you shut down hospitalizations. How many people are backed up from cancer screenings? I know one person personally that had to wait longer because of COVID. How many people missed tuberculosis screenings overseas? Hundreds of thousands of people died on record in Guardian due to medic diverting attention away from tuberculosis, which kills a lot of people. So add all of those excess deaths up from suicide, from opioid deaths, from people who got fatter and then, grew their comorbidities and died of COVID or had other problems with their heart. The deaths and the injuries and the healthiness has all been worse because of the lockdowns. Lockdowns, yeah, they work. They work at killing people, hurting people, destroying their mental health, physical health, economic health. They work at destroying, hurting humanity. Why does you got to ask yourself, why does no Republican even do 1/5 of what I'm doing? Ask yourself that. Why is no? Because they're politicians. They're taking money from special interest groups, from donors, and a lot of them are taking money from big pharma. So they wear a cowboy hat and they lose in slow motion. But because they're wearing a cowboy hat and they sound like people we want them to sound like, people think that they're on their side and they're fighting for them. These politicians, no matter how much you love them, they're doing just enough to make you give them money and vote for them, not enough to actually solve the problem. That's not to say you shouldn't vote and vote for who you like, but at the end of the day, people need to realize that it's going to take more than everybody complying and voting for Trump or DeSantis to solve this issue. Because if people really wanted to destroy the COVID narrative, they would say what I just said 2 minutes ago. It's really that simple. And I'm not bragging because I know the karma of what I'm about to say is probably going to bring more negative press my way, but whatever, I'll take it. They don't bother me that much because when they do, I make it uncomfortable for them. Because if they talk shit about me and call me all sorts of stupid things and lie about me, I'll just be more honest about their shitty journalism. And it gets 50 times as many views and they feel embarrassed. But in general, they probably don't know what to say about what I'm saying because it's all backed by data and facts. Do they not think that being overweight is going to hurt you later down the road? Do they think that the CDC and CNN's wrong when they said like 78% of hospitalizations were obese? This is mainstream CNN reporting. Do they think that's no? So they shut up because I'm not just like goofing on Megan Rapinoe. I mean, she's a joke, but like Trump is an easy target. But then when push comes to shove with medical tyranny, he has nothing to say. Ron DeSantis is running circles around him, and everybody knows it. And I'm saying this right now. I know Ron DeSantis is not perfect. People are like, anomaly shows for Ron DeSantis. I've talked about things I don't like, but normalize complimenting someone that you like and disagreeing with someone that you like and vice versa. You could do both. But anyway, if Trump runs for president and takes DeSantis away from Florida to stand in vice president and do nothing, he will once again do a major disservice to America. Not only would DeSantis, in my opinion, be a better leader than Trump against COVID, but DeSantis did more to save America from Florida than Trump did from the White House. DeSantis was the one who decided to use the COVID data and go against the lockdowns way earlier than a lot of other people. And DeSantis isn't like a court jester who just makes fun of Megan Rapinoe all day like a professional clown. He actually like is a serious person who says things and doesn't just like joke around all the time. I think Trump's hilarious. He's one of the funniest people, but at a certain point, it's like, bro, you got to be able to counter this narrative. So everybody's talking about all these conservative pages I follow. Trump's going to run with Ron DeSantis as vice president. That's the worst thing that could possibly happen because Ron DeSantis is 5 times the leader that he is in COVID-19 world. And also the vice president doesn't do anything. That's why Mike Pence was the perfect vice president. He just stood there and looked like a Christian. But, I mean, he's a nice guy, but I'm just saying. So when it comes to everyone saying Trump's going to run, take a guy who's a better leader than he is, put him at vice president to do nothing, and take him away from the state that they need him at the most, where he's doing a great job. And, he potentially defeated the COVID narrative from his state. That's a nightmare. So anybody cheering this on, it's like, if he does that once again, another great disservice to the country. Either DeSantis needs to run for president and go for it all or stay in Florida. The vice president doesn't really do anything. And DeSantis did more from Florida to open our country than Trump did from the White House. And people who say, well, what about DeSantis' speech bill? I was one of the first people to report on it. Shout out to No More News who, educated me on that. But in general, as far as some of these other channels, and what about his vaccine thing? It's like, I don't agree with him on anything, but you have to understand, even if you don't like DeSantis and you call out all his nonsense, he did do more than Australia. He did do more than the UK. He did do more than California. And he certainly did more than rhino Republicans from Maryland, that loser. So you got to normalize giving people credit for what they did, disagreeing with people you like, complimenting people you don't like, and most importantly, just don't idolize or fully hate every politician. And that's something that I'm learning, and I think I've always thought of, but even more now, and I'm becoming better at it. People either hate somebody or they idolize somebody. They idolize Trump and they hate AOC. They hate Trump and they idolize AOC. You're doomed for failure. You're idolizing a politician who almost certainly is not someone you should idolize. And then you're hating viciously somebody. That's how they play you. When you fully love somebody or fully hate somebody, you could fully love them, but don't fully idolize them. So that's what everybody's doing. And that's why everyone's so easy to fool. If you hate Donald Trump, you'll do anything. I mean, these people literally, I could tell them like poop and they're like, well, Rachel Maddow said it. And you're like, why would you do that? They're like, well, Orange Man bad. I'm like, but why would you do that though? They're like, well, they said that Trump didn't do that. It's like Trump said not to drink poop water. I'm going to drink my poop water. It's like, do you have a brain of your own, or you just do like the opposite of what Trump did? Like, liberals lost their mind in their pursuit of viciously hating Trump. They don't even like anybody. A lot of people don't like Joe Biden. They just hate Donald Trump. So when you hate someone that much, same with AOC or Ilhan Omar. When you hate Ilhan Omar that much, they pass speech bills that go against the Constitution saying, don't you hate her anti-Semitism? And everyone says, for sure, I hate Ilhan Omar, blah, blah, blah. And then DeSantis, Trump, Ted Cruz, they pass a speech bill because you're so focused on hating her that you don't even realize that Republicans use your hate for her in order to push anti. So it's the same thing. Or if you idolize Bernie Sanders or idolize Donald Trump, they will fool you. And I know because both of them have tricked me to a certain extent at a course of my life. So that's what we have to do. We have to normalize disagreeing with people strongly that you like, agreeing with people that you don't like, and not hating or obsessing over somebody. That's because anytime I do one or the other, like people are like, normally you're shilling for Ron DeSantis. I'm like, I've been some of the first people to say things that he's not doing, but I'm not like a hater. I'm not a hater. I'm not an idolizer. I don't hate anybody. I don't hate Donald Trump. I certainly don't hate DeSantis. I appreciate what he's doing, and he's a politician. So the bar is set very low. And say what you want about all his shortcomings, and I will quite often. If it weren't for him there, if we had a Democrat in Florida, I think things in this country would be differently. That's not to say that the bar that Republicans set is acceptable. I don't think it is. But, there's a way to speak about it, appreciate what it is. And I think sometimes that works as far as to get through to somebody. But everybody's got their own approach. that's mine. Let me know what you think. I got like 5 minutes and I'm going to take off. Let's see. Evangelicalist Carla said both parties, both wings are connected to the same bird. I think that's clearly true. Someone said, remember when they tried to cancel Goya? Yeah, it's like these are like, what were they mad at him because he stood next to Trump? The people who hate Trump are insane. Here's another example of how they moved the Overton window. So I would say liberals went from being like here to just horrible, right? They got terrible. And sometimes there's a lot of influencers. All they do is talk about the left. That's all they do. Our left bad, left bad. They're Republicans who say the left is so stupid. In my opinion, it's true. They're really stupid. But that doesn't make you good. You know what I'm saying? If I get in a room of 100 people and I stand next to the person who's clearly like not has a mind, and I say, well, I'm better than that guy, it's like, yeah. So like, no offense to Democrats, but like that's the Democratic Party now. Like everybody's better than them because they're like so crazy. You know, they've lost their freaking mind. They make Bernie Sanders of 10 years ago look like Mussolini. Like I'm not trying to be mean, but it's like Bernie Sanders 10 years ago would be considered like a fascist to a liberal for the crime of like standing up for American citizens and standing against immigration. So that's what a lot of conservative pages do is like they pick the low hanging fruit and they say they're the real. It's like, yes, Democrats are miserable. I would love to talk about it. But sometimes when you do that, you decline with them. So it's like, it's going to be pretty hard to not be worse than like you're going to have to do a lot to get worse than them. So if your whole career is just you standing next to the liberal saying I'm better than the liberal, you're going to decline with them and be like, yeah, but you're kind of bad too. Like I agree the Democratic Party sucks, but Trump and McConnell both signed off on the CARES Act. That's socialism. People are like, what? You think Republicans are doing socialism? I'm like, I don't think Republicans are doing socialism. I know Republicans are doing socialism because a libertarian or a conservative would look at the CARES Act and the lockdown and the Operation Warp Speed and say, that's not capitalism. It's only capitalism if everyone gets to stay open. It's not capitalism when everybody locks down and they print trillions of dollars and give it to certain people. So when I say Republicans are socialists too, they're like, what? What? I just went to TPUSA and I got a sticker that says socialism sucks. What? What anomaly? It's the Democrats, the real communists. I'm like, I'm not saying the Democrats are better. I'm not a Democrat. I'm saying they're doing like full-blown socialism and communism, and your party's like doing kind of the same thing. That's what I'm saying. What? No, but did you see my sticker? I have Charlie Kirk's face on my. No disrespect to Charlie Kirk. Like I have Charlie Kirk's face on my sticker. Socialism sucks, and I'm not. No. Trump's gonna fight socialism. I'm like, he already did socialism last year. I'm not. And then they never disprove me because I'm right. They'll be like, but he had to. He had to please the left. He had to rush the vaccines. If he never rushed the vaccines, we never would be free. How else are we going to be set free if he doesn't give trillions of dollars away and give money to big pharma? We'll never be free without a lockdown. I'm like, it's Lucy with the football. It's so obvious. So I'm just like saying, like every time I go to these people, they're like, what? I go to their thing. It's like Charlie Kirk, Dinesh D'Souza, like Greg Gutfeld. And I'm not knocking these people. I like Dinesh and his family. His daughter's very nice and his wife's nice. And he's very nice. And he's, in fact, I'm not making fun of Dinesh. He's a good guy. But I'm just saying, it's like, they're like, what? Anomaly. It's like, yeah, because I'm the only one that doesn't just say like Obama. It's like, whoa, yeah, I get it. Obama, not my guy. Democrats. But like, that's all they do. So the people who follow them, they don't even realize that their party's like doing it too. It's like, they're what? And I see like, they're like, their last retweet is like, socialism sucks really bad. We got to fight the radical left. Do you want me to get my RNC mail? I'm a registered Republican. The RNC mails me all the time. They're like, hey, warning, you could get 3 times the donation to Trump, triple bucks. If you donate to Trump, it's 3 times as effective. We're fighting the radical left. Whoa, man, we're in the trenches fighting for Venezuela, Cuba. We're going to save Cuba. I'm like, you can't even save America. You can't even save Texas. How the hell are you going to save Cuba? Dallas has become liberal. You can't even save Dallas. You're going to give us money. I'm like, I'm not giving you money until you actually care about things I care about. Stop being like the left. start doing something about medical tyranny. I don't want to donate to you. I've done enough for you for free. And I didn't do it for any other reason besides I did my own independent work and it made sense at the time to vote for your candidates. But I've done enough for you. Stop begging me for money. It's unbelievable. Someone said, LOL. Yeah, I've been ignoring pleas for donations, right? I get it. Like, I send out 2 emails or 1 email a month. If I sent out 20 emails a month, I'd probably make more money and get more hat sales at godblesshats.com. I just don't like to annoy people. Like, I know it's strategic to send out that much. I get why they're doing it marketing wise. I just hate that. So I probably could do the same thing. I have a big email list. I could probably make more. But I hate to be that person. Like 50% off sale. Oh, you buy one hat, you get 7,000 Trump bucks for free. Get a Trump car. Dude, we're fighting the radical left. Maybe I'll try that. Maybe I'll send out an email like godblesshats.com. Be like, I'm fighting the radical left with my hats. And by the way, I know people want the black hat, the God is great black hat or the God bless black hat. I can't get the black hats because they screwed up the economy, but I will get these in soon. I'll just be like, we're here, folks, fighting the radical left by becoming the radical left. The only way to fight the deep state is to go to godblesshats.com, get your hat, buy one, get one Trump card free with the 30,000 times effective bonus rate. I got to try that. It's kind of fun. It's good marketing. All right, I got to go. Sorry, I couldn't read the super chats. Thank you, Lanny. I apologize. I've kind of missed them. All right, my buddy's got to. Let me see. Someone said those ships will make comfy gulags after they've been bankrupted. Yeah, hopefully I get to go to the Royal Caribbean gulag. I'll play basketball in my gulag or something. But at prison, I think you could play basketball. Maybe they'll have basketball at the gulags. That would be ideal. Anyway, I'm not going. I'm getting too jacked for the gulag. Appreciate you guys. Like I said, godblesshats.com. I don't have any sales right now, but if you want one, that's fine. I don't have the black ones. The white ones are there. I'm working on it. It's just supply chains are down. Stay in touch with me.com is my free email list. Telegram is Dream Rare Chat. And I'm going to tag Carnival in this. Could you imagine Carnival or like Royal Caribbean's PR person watching this live stream? Their mind will be blown. They'll probably laugh, get pissed off. I don't know. I bet somebody from Carnival or Royal Caribbean, their PR team's going to have to watch this. They're like, dude, this big influencer on YouTube, or Facebook, he's got 1.5 million followers. Like, he tagged us. Like, let's see what it says. They're going to get out of this like, holy shit, that guy's at. No, I'm just kidding. But anyway, have a good day, guys. Enjoy yourself. I'll be back soon. And anybody who's being forced or pushed their hand, I'm not a medical advisor. I'm not a legal advisor. A lot of people hit me up because they think I know what to do. I just do me and I go with it. And I pray for you guys and I hope that you stay strong. My thing is this, before I go real quick, I wish that complying worked. Seriously, for a little bit, I was like, listen, I'll stay inside. I mean, to be fair, I don't really do that much anyway. Like last March, I was like, I sit inside all the time anyway on my computer, whatever. But the more you comply, they keep moving the goalposts. Royal Caribbean, Carnival, the government, the states, the corporations. So I know people are complying and caving, thinking that's going to end everything. And I seriously wish it did. I wish it did so I could just tell people I'm listening and I'm going to do it. But it's literally the opposite. People will do things that they don't want to do in order to please their boss or please their corporation. And it's going to hurt that much more, in my perspective, when in a year and a half, all of those things that you do account for nothing. People got vaccinated to go on a cruise maskless. Now they have to put on a mask. People got vaccinated so they don't have to get tested all the time. Now they're getting tested. I would be furious if I got 2 shots of the mRNA vaccine to travel and do all this stuff, and now I can't do it too. I would be way more furious than I am now. I'm not upset at all because I've been not listening to these people for a year. So, I wish listening worked, but regardless, it really doesn't. So I think it just drags it out. And if you follow the testing and you follow the patterns and you follow the winter, etc., I mean, this is literally never going to end until enough people get to their point of being like, you know what? I complied for 2 years. I did everything you said to do, and you're still not allowing me to do this. That's what it's going to take, folks, unfortunately. God bless you. Have a good day. I'll be back soon.